Hey guys, welcome to the Trophy Life podcast. I'm your host, Tara Smith. From beauty to wellness, wife life, motherhood, and everything feminine in between, the Trophy Life podcast is a place where you can feel inspired and empowered and ultimately create the life that you desire and deserve. It's hot to romanticize your life, so grab a mocktail or your favorite cozy beverage and let's get into it. Welcome to today's episode. As you can see by the title of today's episode, we are going to be chatting about hosting do's and don'ts. This kind of reminded me of my episode that I recently did, which was the 2025 ins and outs. And you guys loved that episode, by the way. So thank you for all the love on that episode. I personally love that trend so much, kind of like I mentioned in that episode. And yeah, I'm just very excited to chat about all the exciting hosting do's and don'ts for today's episode, because let's just say this, your girl is very specific, okay, with her hosting duties. It's something I take very seriously, and I'm excited to chat about it. And we'll kind of get again more into this after we do a little life update for the week, but it is something I take very seriously, hosting duties, and maybe a little bit controversial, but just hear me out. And I think a lot of you will be interested to hear what I have to say if you like hosting events, or maybe you haven't ever hosted something and you want to get into it. This episode is perfect for you, and I think you will learn a lot from it, and it'll also just help you kind of think of hosting a little bit more as like an art form rather than just purely entertainment, even though, of course, we want it to be very entertaining. For this week's life update, obviously, we chatted about this on Tuesday's episode last week, but Colby and I did adopt a puppy, and she's just over 16 weeks old. Her name's Luna. She's a little Shiba Inu. I just posted a little carousel of her on my Instagram feed, because she needs her own moment. She is such a character. She's just the absolute cutest. I'm obsessed with her. Nova's like still warming up to her. I think Nova's just a little bit like confused as to why a puppy is in her space, but they're playing together really well. And I'm going to be working with a trainer just to make sure that their relationship is how it's supposed to be. And then also, obviously, of course, you have to train a puppy, because if you don't, it's hard to say, what can happen. And it's just so much easier to train a puppy than, I mean, not that you can't train an older dog, because I'm going to be probably having to retrain some things with Nova, as she is now she's like 5.5 almost. She was born in August of 2019, but I think it'll just be a lot easier to, train Luna. Like, she's already been doing great. She's only had a few accidents in the home, and it was as soon as she learned to go up the stairs. Also, sorry, I don't know why I'm so out of breath. It's like, I swear it feels like I'm pregnant, even though I know I'm not. It's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, maybe it's just like a hormone thing. So if I sound out of breath, that's the only thing I can chalk it up to, because I don't know what else it would be. Side note, as to health stuff, before we go back into puppy things, I recently started doing my Pilates again. And the reason I wanted to do Pilates was because from being pregnant and then also experiencing a miscarriage and everything emotional that comes with that and physical, I was like, I need some more activities in my life that are just like less stress inducing, because I feel like my body has been in this just like massive state of stress for quite some time. I feel like last July is kind of when it started, and that was kind of when like I was really prepping my body for the income, for the next months of like getting pregnant and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, I need something else besides just weight training. And I love weight training. I love the results that it gets. But right now, I honestly do not even care about that. I'm like, I just need to focus purely on like healing my brain, in the sense of like not being so stressed out all the time. And then, because when you have high stress, anxiety comes, and honestly, I feel like stress is the worst thing for you, more than eating like a candy bar at every meal. Like, if your body is stressed out, it doesn't matter what health things you do, they're going to just be overridden with the stress that you have. So that's kind of another fun little life update. And I'm just excited to do my Pilates. I use the Sweat app. I love it. I've been using that app for like, geez, I don't even know, maybe 6 years. Ever since it came out, honestly, I think I've been a subscriber. And I've been doing the Pilates with Sarah. So I'm doing that. It's just like, it's chill. It's a really good workout, but it's also like a good balance for me at this point in time in my life. And so I'm excited. Basically, that's kind of all the puppy things that I wanted to say, what I said earlier. But the next very exciting thing, which this is perfect because it goes along perfectly with today's episode, is I am hosting a Favorite Things Galentine's party. So there's a little bit of tea with this whole party. This was initially supposed to be during Christmas time. That's when I always do my Favorite Things party, and it was supposed to be during Christmas. But because I was so sick when I was pregnant, I had to cancel it because no one knew I was pregnant yet. And I was like, my food aversions were insane. I could not cook anything. I couldn't even be around food, honestly. Like, food in my house made me, and sometimes it would make me actually throw up. I threw up a lot when I was pregnant. And so I was like, you know what? I just gotta like cancel this. So I was like, what can I say? And I was like, okay, I'll just say I have COVID, because I was like, I don't know what other excuse you can say. So I just was like, hey, guys, I have COVID. Obviously, I actually didn't. I was not that type of sick. And so, anyways, I pushed it back to February. I sent out all my invites like beginning of January, I would say, like maybe first week of January. And the invite is so cute. It's just, I made it on Canva. I'm obsessed with making all of my things on Canva. And then I sent out the invites through the Partyful app, which we'll get into in today's episode. And I'm really excited for it. So I'm getting ready for hosting that. I've been building out like kind of like my outline of things that I do when I host an event. And it's just very fun and exciting. And during Christmas time, I was like, man, I'm so excited for Valentine's Day. Because once I had my miscarriage, to be honest with you, after you experience a loss during Christmas time, you kind of just really want Christmas to be over, which I love Christmas. It's my favorite time of the year. And it was just so hard to experience the loss of your first child during what's supposed to be the best time of the year. I was planning on we were planning on telling our whole family for Christmas. Like on Christmas Day, we had gifts for everybody. So it was just like, after knowing that reality was not going to be my reality anymore, I was like, I need to focus on something else. And so having the party around Valentine's Day ended up being perfect, because it's kind of just been like a fun hobby for me to have and do, if you will. So it's been great. Okay, let's get into the juice of the episode. So basically, I put together a list of do's and don'ts. And we're going to start with the do's, because I feel like the do's, you kind of set a good foundation, and then the don'ts are easy to just go in and add and like be conscious of, if you will. Because I wish someone would have told me when I was hosting my first event a list. I wish I had a list of do's and don'ts. Honestly, it feels like I'm pregnant. I don't know why I'm so out of breath. I have never felt this way besides when I've been pregnant. I'm like, I don't know. I still have HCG in my system, so sometimes I literally still have weird pregnancy symptoms, if you will. And I'm just rolling with it. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. We're going with it. Okay, so anyways, I was saying, I wish someone would have had a list like this for me, because it would have just been so much easier to not make certain mistakes that I then eventually ended up, I did regret them. I think it's fine to have regrets in life. I feel like people are too, what's the word? They overthink having a regret, which I'm just like, it's fine. You can, I guess maybe the word carries too much weight for a lot of people, But anyways, so the first thing I have on my list of do's is to create a theme around your party. This will help to make the party very fun. Plus, it's going to help you a lot when it comes to actually planning out the party. Now, the reason that you want to create a theme is because, like I said, it will help you when you're creating the party, but it also really helps to just set an overall vibe when your guest walks in to your event. So what type of emotion do you want them to feel? What type of colors do you want them to see? What type of music do you want them to hear? What type of food do you want them to eat? What type of drinks do you want them to drink? Just think of all these questions in your head and you'll start to just accumulate a lot of ideas. And if you are like, I don't even know where to start with this, my favorite tool in the entire world, and probably my favorite app ever, is Pinterest. Of course, I will literally talk about, I swear I mentioned Pinterest in like every episode of like something girly that we end up talking about. But it is just such a great tool, especially when it comes to planning parties. So what I would do is, like, let's say you're also planning a Galentine's or a Valentine's party. Go onto Pinterest and type in Galentine's party aesthetic or Galentine's party inspo. Aesthetic is my favorite word to use because I feel like that pulls up the cutest, most fun images, if you will. But to each their own. You could even do like food, like Galentine's food, Galentine's treats. The more niche you get, the better results that you will also get. You could also go onto TikTok and type in Galentine's party, birthday party theme ideas, tons of fun ideas. If you guys saw, I hosted a birthday party for myself last September. Actually, was it October? No, it was September when I did it. And we did a Gossip Girl themed birthday party. When we say we, I mean I. And so I had basically essentially turned my entire home into Gossip Girl world. I had Gossip Girl playing on my TV. I had a bunch. I actually have a video. It's on my Instagram account, and it actually has like, I don't even know how many views it has. I think it's got like over 500,000. And it's so cute. I love seeing all the girls that are just like, oh my gosh, I love Gossip Girl. I'm obsessed with this. And I had not seen anything inspo-wise for Gossip Girl. I saw like one girl on Pinterest and she had like the Prada, poster that she put her name on and then had some cookies. And I was just like, that's not what I want. Like, I want it to be like Blair Waldorf's sleepover. So that's kind of the vibe that I went with. I basically adopted a episode from Gossip Girl, which made it a lot easier because it was super hard to narrow down for that broad of a show, a theme. So if you choose like a show, for example, like Gossip Girl, think of like a moment in the show that you want to roll with and then set that as your theme. I hope that makes sense. Another tool that I would say is great, freaking awesome for themes is ChatGPT. I love Chat so much. Chat's my bestie. Me and Chat talk about everything, and I don't ever see that changing. So those are really, Pinterest and Chat are going to be your two best friends. And then I guess social media, but I think it's kind of fun to go on Pinterest for the sense of like, you're not tethered to something that like you could full out copy somebody. Obviously you can if you want to. I don't think there's anything wrong with copying somebody, especially if someone copied like my exact Gossip Girl party. Honestly, I'd be so honored because I'm like, I put an insane amount of work and time into that party and like coming up with the theme. And I've never seen anybody else do the Blair Waldorf theme, which I guarantee that's why it's getting so many views on Instagram specifically, because girls are like, wait, I've never seen this. And I'm like, it's so fun. So anyways, that's also great if you want to do that too. Okay, the next do, and I cannot recommend this enough, and I'm going to give you all the reasons why, is download the app Partiful. Partiful is how you spell it. I'm going to open the app on my phone right now just so I can see everything. It is by far the most amazing app to use as a host. Okay, and honestly, when you're also attending an event, which I've also been able to do on here as well, you can just create an event. It's so easy. This app is so self-explanatory and very user-friendly. But you create the app, you create the party, and then it will have in here things like adding in the inspo. So I created a Pinterest board. I always do that for all my parties so people can see, maybe outfit inspo or what they can expect. Like it's really fun. Again, it's kind of like a romanticizing thing, but I just think it's a really fun flair to add to the party. Or on my favorite things party, I actually linked the TikTok of the favorite things party inspo that I got so people could kind of see how the gifts and everything works, because it can be kind of like there's so many different ways to do a favorite things party. And then it also has a place in here where you can put your dress code. So I always like to do pajamas for most of my events. I just think it's fun, and everyone owns pajamas or sweats, So it's just fun to do that. And then, like I said, that for my dress code for my Galentine's party, I said PJs, and then I said bows or hearts encouraged. And people can just take that however they want. You don't want to be too strict when it comes to a dress code or something. You don't want to like make someone go buy something new. If they want to, that's amazing. But you want people to just be able to use whatever they have. And then you can also put what type of food you'll have. The worst thing ever is when you go to a party and you think that there's going to be food, and then you get there because you're hungry and there's nothing. Like when someone has a party at noon, you expect there to be food. I've gone to plenty of like showers, mostly showers, I would say, where there's just nothing. And I'm like, girl, I'm hungry. It's noon. Like I'm expecting to eat. So I love this because your guests know what to expect. So for my Galentine's, I'm doing bites, treats, and drinks. So it says bites, drinks, and drinks will be served. And then I explain the exact invite on my favorite things. I'll just read you what it says because why not? So it lets you add a description. So in my description, I said, bring 2 of the same gift of favorite things. So you can bring more than one thing. Item of yours from the year. Each gift is valued at $40, so $80 total. So you bring 2 gifts that are the exact same and they're both at least $40. And then I said, see the inspo videos for examples on gifts and then wrapping. And then I said, you'll come with 2 gifts and leave with 2 gifts. Wrap your gifts so it's visible so you can show us why yours is amazing. So there's just small little details like that. Normally I wouldn't ever have someone bring something, but a favorite things party is obviously unique and fun and different. And then I also am doing a fun thing where whoever's prize gets chosen first, I am going to give them a fun gift. And I'll tell you guys what the gifts are. Well, I actually am like not 100% sure because I might change my mind. But as of right now, one is a bag from Prada that's got a lot of Prada makeup in it. And the other one is a Valentino bag that has a Valentino perfume in it. Again, I could change my mind, but as of right now, those are the 2 gifts that I have for the winners. I just thought they were so fun and bougie and girly. And obviously you could do something like a gift card to like a restaurant, or you could get so creative with it. And this is where chat is really fun. But I think it's fun to add flares like that to a party that make it unique. And also, if you're going to put the work into hosting something, do things and invest in different ways that make people be like, just, they had such a good time. Like, that's how I want people to feel. I want them to feel like entertained and they're like, wow, I've never been to a party that's this fun. That's exactly how I want someone to leave a party that I host. And I take a lot of pride in that. And honestly, you have to do whatever works for you, because I know not everybody's that way. So if you're like, that's not my vibe, then that's totally cool. And then the other cool thing that I love about Partyful is that it will get people to actually RSVP. Whenever I've done an event where I have to tell people to text me their RSVP, I would say only probably 10% of people actually do that. And you're just chasing people down. But guess what? The Partyful app does it for you. And you can also turn off RSVPs by let's say you wanted to do it a month before, or, I would say 2 weeks before is probably good to cut off RSVPs. But if you're doing a host gift or something and you need to have numbers before, then do it by whatever date you need. And this app just makes that so much easier. That was the main thing that drew me to this app, was how incredibly easy it was to have the RSVPs on here. And it's kind of great because it kind of turns into like a mini social media where people can also see who else is going. And I love that because I always hate going to a party and not knowing who the heck is going to be there. So I'm just obsessed with this. And it's great because all they have to do is like download the Partyful app and then they can just get all the updates for the party. And it's amazing. So, and then another cool thing that you can do, which I did this last time, is you can send out a photo album blast. They call it like a text blast. So at the end of the party, you can upload photos from the night and everyone can share like photos that they took. It's the best. And then people can obviously like reach out to other people if you're like, oh, what's that girl's name? I loved her. Super easy to do that. So it's great. I honestly am never not going to use it unless a better app comes along, which if it does, I will let you know because I will be the first to know. I will tell you that. And it also lets you upload your own like cute little photo for the party. But if you also want to use an event, if you want to use something that they already have, they have tons of GIFs and photos in their actual app of like just in their gallery of content. And it's so funny and it's incredible. Like you could easily make a great event without having to like do anything in Canva or anywhere else, and it would look so good. And then another thing I wanted to add along with RSVPs is to send them out a month in advance. I think if you do it less than a month, plan on at least 3 or 4 people not being able to go. Obviously, if there's like something like a wedding or like things like that that people have already had planned for a long time, there's not really any getting around that. But one thing I've noticed is that when I plan out a month at least in advance, pretty much everybody can make it. So if you're going to, again, do all of the work, you really just want to make sure that the people that you really want there are able to go. Okay. We're also going to plan out our menu, and we're either going to order in food or make it the day before. Now, I have done events where I have made food the day of, and it's so chaotic. It's too much. You're running around, you're trying to get your house in order, you're trying to get so many different things for the party ready. And I think, honestly, the best thing to do is if you're doing like a sit-down dinner, in that case, I would say order in. I honestly love doing pizza because until I am at the point where I can like cater and the food is hot, I don't know, unless I did like 4 people with like a dinner party, I don't know if I would be interested in doing anything else but that. Because like for my Galentine's party, there's about 12 girls coming. And I just think it's so much easier to just order food. Or you don't have hot food. You have things like chips and dip. You could do a spinach and artichoke dip. You could do a charcuterie board. I'm going to do I'll just read you my menu for my Galentine's party. But the main thing I'm doing is a massive charcuterie board because that way I can do it ahead of time. I don't have to worry about it. And everybody loves that. And it doesn't matter. Like it can stay out on the counter for, 3 hours or whatever. So I'm going to do that and an artichoke dip. And then I'll probably do like a chip and salsa or something. And then for dessert, I'm going to do chocolate fondue. I found this really cute chocolate fondue little situation. It's like shaped like a heart. It's so adorable. And it's ceramic and I got it on Amazon. And then I'm going to do like some wafer sticks, strawberries, brownie bites. And then I'm also going to get some cookies from Ruby Snap. And I believe they actually gave me a code. I think it's probably just Tara Smith. But they are literally the best cookies ever. Crumble doesn't even come close to them. And they do ship worldwide. I always have Ruby Snap cookies at my parties. And I was like, y'all, my community needs a code. And I need a code. So I can use my own code. Because I actually ordered their cookies ahead of time on their website or whatever to get delivered to my house for my for my Christmas party. And then I forgot to cancel the cookies because I ended up not having the party. So I got a box of cookies and then I ended up just giving them to friends and family. But anyways, their cookies are incredible. Their February flavors are both so good. It's not the red velvet, it's the other one. I think it's like the Katie. Oh my gosh, it's my favorite Ruby Snap cookie ever. It's like a strawberry lemonade. Oh my gosh, it's insane. It's insane. I've never had anything like it in my life. So I'm very excited to have that cookie once again because they only have it in February. Okay, so once we plan out our menu, we're then going to plan out the activity that we have for the party. So if you want to do a cozy girls' night in and you want to order in pizza, have everyone wear their PJs, and you want to watch a movie and have some popcorn and treats, that's perfect. And that's honestly such a good girls' night, and you could have the movie be the activity. Now, obviously, that girls' night is probably not going to be more than like 3 hours long. So depending on how, you want to, if you wanted to like incorporate like a necklace making station or something else like that, you totally could, but you would obviously just have to like plan accordingly. And I think in general, having an activity or something for people to do is just, it makes the world of a difference. So I would highly recommend it. I did at my birthday party, we did a claw clip making station, and it was so cute, so freaking fun. Everyone loved it. I also came up with that idea. I hadn't seen anybody do that. And I was like, I was going to do headbands because Gossip Girl. And then I was like, no, I feel like people just use claw clips so much more than they use headbands. Okay. After we plan our activity, I want you to think of ways that you can add a personal touch for all your guests to make them feel special. So I'm going to give you a few different ideas that I wrote down, and I'll just think of them also off the top of my brain because I just realized I only wrote one thing down, so I'll just think of them. But these are going to be things that I do to help people feel, included and loved and like they're seen and feel important. And I just feel like making other people feel that way is never underrated. You can never go like too far when it comes to something like that. Okay, so the first thing I would say that I think is so fun, and honestly, I would say is also pretty affordable in a sense, is ask everybody for their favorite type of drink and then have it at your house for them. And then depending on when people come or how many people you have, you could even like have their drink in a glass with some ice in it and hand it to them when they walk in the door. That's like next level. Honestly, I really want to do that at my next event. I wish I would have thought about that for the Galentine's, but I want to do a dinner party in the spring or summer, and I want to do that because imagine you walk into someone's house. You just imagine this. And one of your friends, you walk into their house and they hand you a cold bevy that is your beverage. Like, let's say you love watermelon buys. You walk in, boom, they have it for you in a cold glass. You love ginger ale, boom. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Diet Coke, boom. Dr. Pepper, boom. Like, are you kidding me? I just think that is so sweet and a little way as like a hostess that you can show that you love someone and you appreciate them. And I just think that it's so cool. And I feel like as humans, we've sometimes lost the art of like putting in effort for people and going the extra mile. And I just feel like we should bring that back. And as Trophy Life Girlies, I feel like if you're listening to this, you love things like that. So more than likely you're going to love that. And then I promise you, it's just going to make you feel so good when you spend effort and of course money, but mostly effort in doing something for somebody. It's the best. Okay. The next thing, let's see. Okay, wait, let me think of some other personal touches for your guests. You could also ask for dietary restrictions. That's one thing that you could put in your partyful event. They actually let you add in dietary restrictions. Like, let's say you have a friend who's sugar-free. Just having like some fruit for her or something. I guess it depends on what type of sugar-free. Let's say like processed sugars. Okay, make it easier. You could have like a watermelon juice or coconut water for her. Just things like that would make her feel special, seen, heard. Same with gluten-free. Like a lot of grocery stores will sell like mini desserts that are gluten-free. So you could just pick up something, that fits the vibe and the theme of the party, or just have desserts that are a gluten-free option. Like for my party, we're doing fruit is like the main dessert. And so, that works out perfectly, obviously, because fruit does not have any gluten in it. Obviously the chocolate might, but they could just have the fruit and that's great. Okay. When it comes to the dress code, I know I kind of touched on this when we were talking about Partyful, but having a dress code, there's an art to it. And what I mean by that is you can go too overboard, okay? We don't want people to be feeling like they're going to a freaking wedding and they have to buy a yellow flower dress. Like, that's just so niche, and most people probably don't have that in their closet, and most people don't want to spend $100 or whatever to go buy a new dress, and they shouldn't have to. You want to figure out a dress code that can make people feel like they can grab what they have in their closet and use it. I try to avoid making people spend money as much as I can when I throw a party. Now, my favorite things event is the only exception that I make, but technically people aren't even spending money because they're getting the same thing back and they're choosing what they want. And I always send my, anyways, that's basically the gist with that. The favorite things is, in my brain, the only exception with that. So I would just really think about that. You wouldn't want to get invited to something and feel like you have to go buy, something super specific. Now, obviously, I have a lot of friends who love to like buy a new pair of pajamas or something like that. That's incredible. I love that for them, but you want to keep in mind the friends who don't want to do that or maybe don't have the funds to do that. It's just good to keep everybody in mind when it comes to stuff like that. Okay. And then we're also going to ask guests for allergies, which I did mention this before, but just add it to your Partyful thing, the dietary restrictions. It's super easy. Now, if you're not really planning on having food as like a forefront of your event, then you could just like not worry about it. Because it's also, it just depends on your budget and, where you want to go with things. But again, totally up to you. But that's something that I always do just because I like to see what people say. And I would say that most people don't actually say anything. They just say no. Even if they do have dietary restrictions, I think most people usually say no. But again, good to ask. This is going to be another kind of like an art form that you're going to have to practice over time. But once you get good at it, oh my gosh, it's the best. So I want you to, if you're inviting friends who don't know each other to an event that you're hosting, think of friends that you think would connect with each other. Maybe have them sit by each other or introduce them to each other and say, oh my gosh, you guys both love e.l.f. Cosmetics, or you guys both love Sephora. Have them chat about that and like get them talking about something that they have in common, or maybe they have certain political beliefs. I don't know. Maybe you don't want people talking politics, but just having, if you're going to do like a dinner party, having those people sit by each other. I always am thinking about who I should place where whenever I'm hosting something. What do these people have in common? Does this person kind of know this person? Like things like that. And I think it makes a world of a difference. It makes people feel more comfortable, especially when they're going to something where they don't know the majority of people. It's just the best thing to do. And obviously you can have everyone go around and like say their name and how they know you, which I think is great. And that's awesome. But I think if you're doing like a dinner party, definitely strategically think about where you're sitting people if you're having name cards, because name cards can be absolutely in your favor if you let them. The next thing we are going to talk about are the don'ts. And I don't have as many, actually that's not true. I have a decent amount of don'ts on here too. But they're pretty self-explanatory, honestly. And there's going to be a few that I think some people might get annoyed with, but I'll explain why I feel the way that I do about them. So the first thing I have on here is not introducing your guests to each other. Now, we just talked about that, but if you do not do that, people, it doesn't matter how great your party is, if you don't create some sense of connection, you will not have as good of a time, and your guests won't as well. And you want to make sure that you're not like spending all your time in the kitchen too. Like if you are doing that, you're probably doing something wrong. You probably should have ordered in or had food ready ahead of time so that you don't have to do that, because you're the main puzzle piece that everybody knows. And so you have to be kind of like the vibe creator and make sure that everyone feels comfortable and that you're introducing people and all that kind of stuff. Like that is your responsibility as the host. And I think a lot of people think like, oh, it's not my fault if someone doesn't have fun or whatever, which I guess if they don't have fun, but you want people to feel comfortable and like they can relate and talk to people around them in some way, in something, right? My next one, this is the one I feel like people might get a little bit uptight about, but I'm going to explain why. Never ask people to bring food to your party. Now, there's so many reasons for this, but I'm going to give a very broad explanation that makes a lot of sense. When you're inviting someone to your party, you're creating the atmosphere and the vibes, right? If you're already asking someone to spend their time to come to your event, you have to think of it in this way, because there's no other way, honestly, to think about it, because they don't know what the party is going to be like, and they're not asking to put in any money and time into your party. And no one likes to be invited to a party and then also is asked to bring something food-wise along with that. Not only that, but you have absolutely no control. Like if this is for your own sanity, you have no control over what people bring or don't bring. And you could end up with just a bunch of random things that have nothing to do with each other. And it also, in my opinion, is just not classy at all. I think it's flat out. I think it's actually very tacky. I would rather not have an event than ask people to bring food, personally, or I would rather just have light bites and say that on the invite or something, or just saying, like appetizers will be served, or, whatever. Like you could go to Trader Joe's and spend $35 to $40 and get tons of really great food options that would definitely, and you could spend $100 and definitely get plenty of drinks and desserts and appetizers and bites and things. And I just think it's such a better experience for the guest. Truth be told, people that have events and they ask people to bring food, I usually just don't like to go, because it then sounds like a chore and it sounds like a job for me, and I already have enough going on in my personal life. And unless it's a family event where it's like a family dinner or something like that, I just don't like it. I just don't think that it's the vibe. Even when I have family over at my house for dinner, I don't ever ask people to bring stuff. I am kind of like the extreme on that end, because I want someone to just have a good time and focus on that. They're already spending their time to come over and experience what I have to give as a host. And now a lot of people will bring like a hosting or hostess gift in some way. I know a lot of people will bring like champagne or sparkling cider or something like that. That's great. I never have expectations for anything, but I think it's just good to not ask people to bring food. So again, if you're like throwing a shower with your friends or something, that's so different. Like if you're throwing a bridal shower for your sister and you're all doing stuff together, totally different, 100% different than you having your Galentine's party, using myself as the example, and asking all of your friends to bring food for it. Like that just, I don't know. And then, yeah, I've been to parties too where people will then ask to also bring something on top of that. People are going to forget. You give people a date, a time, a food to bring, and something else, and it's like you now have a list of like 4 to 5 things that you're asking people to do. Now people are just working. They're not even enjoying the experience. So, and oh my gosh, don't even get me started with people that will give you a list of food items to bring. I cannot with that. Again, it can be different with family. Like if it's again like a Sunday dinner or something, I get that. But like at a friend's summer dinner or something, again, okay, here's my other rule that I need to say is if it is a big event, like a reoccurring event, let's say Super Bowl, 4th of July, Christmas. Things that are going to happen regardless, and one person is hosting it. Oh, Thanksgiving. Oh, duh. This is so different, okay? I'm not counting those events because that just it's just not the same thing. It's different when it's like your birthday party or a random thing that you're doing. Like, it's just not the same. So that's my 2 cents on that. And I will never change my opinion on this, literally ever. So yeah. Okay. So my next thing on my don'ts is I really think that if you are not going to have a caterer or, a big group or a team of people helping you plan a party, I don't think that you should have more than 12 people, including yourself, at a party. Once you start getting to 15, 20 people, it's so much. It is so much. Again, not counting events like bridal showers, bachelorettes. I'm not counting those because those are different. When you're hosting a Galentine's party, sorry, I had to get a drink of water, and you've got 20 people coming, it just gets really chaotic. And I honestly think that even 10 or less is like perfect, but definitely less than 12. Just because, again, like for every reason I thought of, also it gets more expensive too as you climb up that ladder. So I would just make it easier on yourself. And honestly, when you're first doing an event, I would even say consider having it be like 5 people, including yourself. Why do I have a cough? This is not good. Okay. Next on the list is do not have a schedule that's too structured. You want to have a schedule that's structured, but be a little bit go with the flow. So if something goes over a little bit, be chill. If you don't get to do something that happened in the event, be chill with it. But if you also plan, and the reason I say this is because, and you should also keep this in mind, that people can show up to like 30 minutes late. I wouldn't say after that, wait for those people, stuff like that. Because at that point, that's just like very rude of them on their part to show up after 30 minutes. But just be a little bit chill and go with the flow. I've noticed that when I'm very stressed out, people can feel the vibes and it doesn't create good energy. So I would honestly say it for yourself and for everybody else at the party to just be chill. And if like no one wants to watch a movie and everyone just like wants to chat, just let everybody chat. You could even play the movie in the background and just like have the volume really low. Oh my gosh, I forgot on the dues. I forgot to say that you should have music on in the background. And actually on the Trophy Life Club Instagram, I just posted like a very in-depth Galentine's hosting do's and don'ts. It was like Galentine specific. Definitely go check that out. I spent like an hour at least making that post, and I really it was very detailed and meticulous, and it's fun because it's Galentine's themed and it's a lot of the things I'm doing for my party, and I just think it's great. So go check that out if you haven't. Also, if you're a girl, definitely, which if you're listening to this, you are, go follow the Trophy Life Club Instagram. It's just like a private community for the girls who want to elevate their lives. So it goes hand in hand, honestly, with this podcast. Okay. The next don't on my list is don't wait until the last minute for anything. This like goes with sending RSVPs, ordering food, plan out everything and have everything in advance, like well in advance that you can. Go grocery shopping days before, because odds are you're probably going to have to either run back to the store or Instacart something. So you just want to try and minimize that as much as you possibly can. And I know it's just naturally going to be really hard, but you'll get better at it over time. But if you plan out things like as much as you can, I promise you your life will be easier. The party will go more smoothly and you'll just have more fun. You'll enjoy it more. Okay. Going kind of along with that is don't try out a new recipe the night of your party. Make sure that whatever you're cooking, if you are cooking or if you're ordering in, just make sure you've tried it beforehand, because the worst thing ever is when you spend time and money on something and it ends up not working out and you like hate it and you're like, oh guys, I'm so sorry, this sucks. Like, I can't believe that this, happened or whatever. Just try it out beforehand. And then the next thing that we want to make sure that we also don't do too late is inviting people, like sending out the RSVPs too late. I've had people do that before with me where they send it out like a week and a half or 2 weeks, in advance. And I usually can't go because I've already made plans, up to 2 weeks out. So now the other thing we don't want to neglect is guest comfort. So we want to make sure that the ambiance is great in the home or whatever space you're doing the party in. Now, we want to have the ambiance it needs to be so good. We want to have yellow/warm, low lighting. Always yellow, never, ever, ever cool lighting. Cool lighting is actually, it stresses people out. It can easily target headaches and it strains your eyes more. People also don't look as good in cold lighting as they do in warm. So this is all like facts, by the way. It's just the energy that warm lighting gives off is the best, and it just sets the tone. Think like candlelit lighting, like that yellow warm feeling. You want that. Speaking of candles, light a candle, spray your furniture with some, furniture spray. I got this one from Zara Home when I was in Japan in 2023, and I still have it. And I am so obsessed with it. It makes my house and my sofa smell so good. And it just smells fresh. It's not like too strong or anything. You also want to make sure you've cleaned your house. I always clean 2 days before because I like to set up the day before. And then you also want to avoid really loud music unless like you're throwing like a pop punk party or something, or it's like Halloween or whatever. I would stick to music like soft jazz for like a cozy girls' night, or even like a more upscale girls' night, like play some Frank Sinatra, some other jazz artists like Frank Sinatra, I think are such a fun vibe. And I think it's fun when people also like recognize the music that's being played, or it's just like a relaxing background music, but you don't want the music to also be too loud. So just be very cautious of that. And then do not forget your powder bathroom. So whatever bathroom you're going to have your guests use, make sure it's stocked up on toilet paper, tampons, like little napkins if that's what you want people to dry their hands with, or a hand towel. You could even put a candle in there, put some perfume. I mean, you could really do whatever you want, but just don't neglect the powder bathroom. The worst thing that you don't want someone to be going pee and then they like don't have toilet paper or something, right? So we just want to make sure that we completely avoid that, or also that your bathroom's not clean. So just make sure that you take care of that bathroom, because that would also be so embarrassing. And I feel like that's like easy to neglect in a way, but I'm here to remind you. So there you go. I am very happy with how this hosting do's and don'ts list turned out. I think it turned out absolutely great. Let me know if you think that there's anything that I should add that you think I'm missing. I would absolutely love to hear it. I will see you guys on Thursday for Thursday's episode. I cannot wait. It's going to be a really fun one. I'm excited for it. I'm honestly so excited for every podcast episode. And I know I always say that, and every time I'm saying it, I'm like, but I really do like feel that way. Like I'm so excited to chat about whatever we're talking about in that episode. And I also just wanted to say thank you guys so much for just tuning in to the podcast and being part of the Trophy Life community, because the community is growing so much. We've only been a community since my birthday in September last year in 2024, which is so weird to say last year already about 2024. Like, I'm sorry, but what the heck? Time is just flying by. But I'm just so excited to see how the community continues to grow, and I'm just absolutely so obsessed with podcasting. Like it's very easily my favorite form of content that I've ever done. I would say next to streaming and podcasting are by far my two favorite things. So I'm very excited for all that's to come. Speaking of streaming, I'm also going to be doing some live streams. I'm planning on doing them on TikTok, but currently TikTok's going to be like banned in a few days apparently, so we might have to wait and see where that goes, but maybe I'll also do it just on YouTube or something. But yeah, I'm excited. This episode is actually going live in a few hours because it's January 13th today. So I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Love you. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. If you enjoyed it, make sure to join the Trophy Life Club. It's a free community for the girls by yours truly, and it's on Instagram. It's just at Trophy Life Club. You can also follow me at Tara Kelly Smith on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If you have an extra minute, I would also love and super appreciate if you would review the podcast. This will just help us reach more women who could use a little TLC, aka Trophy Life Club, in their life. So I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.